Hello everyone. The night is dark, the lights are off, and the storm outside sets the perfect mood. As I share this chilling tale, I hope it wraps around you like a blanket, comforting yet eerie. May it guide you into a deep, peaceful sleep. Sweet dreams. My name is Ethan Carter, and I'm 22 years old. Fresh out of college with a degree in computer science, I landed a job at my old high school, Riverside High, as a tech intern. It wasn't exactly my dream job, but it paid the bills, and honestly, it felt good to be back in a familiar place. Riverside High was where I'd spent 4 years of my life, and now I was working in the basement, of all places. The basement was a maze of old textbooks, broken furniture, and dusty equipment. But tucked away in the corner was a small, surprisingly cozy office. It had 3 desks, 2 mini fridges, a flat-screen TV, and most importantly, air conditioning, a luxury the rest of the school didn't have. My co-workers, Marcus and Jake, were both former teachers of mine. They'd always been more like mentors to me, and now they were my colleagues. It was a weird transition, but they made me feel welcome. The job itself was simple: maintain the school's servers, troubleshoot tech issues, and occasionally help teachers with their computer problems. It was quiet, predictable work, until the day everything changed. It was a Thursday afternoon, and I was sitting at my desk, eating a turkey sandwich during my lunch break. Marcus and Jake were upstairs dealing with some paperwork, so I was alone in the office. The basement was eerily quiet, save for the hum of the servers. I was scrolling through my phone when it buzzed with a call from Mrs. Alvarez, one of the secretaries in the front office. "Ethan," she said, her voice trembling, "we're going into lockdown. Someone's entered the building, possibly armed. Stay where you are, turn off the lights, and don't make a sound." My heart dropped. I'd been through lockdown drills before, but this was different. This was real. I quickly turned off the lights and my computer screen, plunging the office into darkness. I texted Marcus and Jake, but neither responded. I felt completely alone. For what felt like an eternity, I sat there in the dark, my phone clutched in my hand. I could hear my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. The basement was silent, but my mind was racing. Who was in the building? Were they armed? Were Marcus and Jake okay? Then I heard it, the creak of the basement door opening. My blood ran cold. Someone was coming down the stairs. I slid out of my chair and crawled under my desk, trying to make myself as small as possible. The footsteps grew louder, echoing through the basement. Whoever it was, they were heading straight for the office. The footsteps stopped just outside the office. I held my breath, praying they wouldn't come in. But then I heard a voice, calm, almost casual. "Hello? Is anyone down here?" I didn't respond. My instinct screamed at me to stay hidden. But then my phone dinged with a text, and the sound seemed to echo through the room. The footsteps moved closer. "I know you're here," the voice said. "I'm not here to hurt you. I'm just trying to hide." Against my better judgment, I peeked out from under the desk. Standing in the doorway was a man in his late 30s, wearing a red plaid button-up shirt, jeans, and a black cap. He looked ordinary, almost harmless, but something about him set off alarm bells in my head. "Who are you?" I whispered, my voice shaking. "I'm Tom," he said. "I was here to pick up my son when the lockdown started. A teacher told me to hide down here." I wanted to believe him, but something didn't add up. Why would a teacher send him to the basement instead of a classroom? And why wasn't he with his son? Before I could ask more questions, my phone buzzed again. It was a text from Marcus. "Ethan, stay where you are. There's a guy with a gun in the building. He shot Mr. Harris. He's wearing a red shirt and a black cap. Do not engage him." My stomach dropped. I looked up at Tom, and our eyes met. He must have seen the fear in my face, because his expression changed, from calm to something much darker. "What did you just read?" Tom asked, his voice low and dangerous. I didn't answer. My mind was racing. The man standing in front of me wasn't a concerned parent. He was the shooter, and I was trapped in a basement with him. Tom took a step closer. "Give me your phone." I hesitated, but there was no way out. I handed it over, my hands trembling. He glanced at the screen, and his face twisted into a grimace. "You shouldn't have seen that," he said, tossing the phone onto the desk. "Now you're part of this." I didn't know what to do. My fight or flight instincts kicked in, and I made a split-second decision. I lunged for the door, but Tom was faster. He grabbed my arm and pulled me back, his grip like iron. "You're not going anywhere," he snarled. Just as I thought it was over, I heard footsteps coming down the stairs. Tom froze, his grip on my arm tightening. A voice called out. It was Marcus. "Ethan, are you down here?" Tom's eyes darted toward the door. For a moment he seemed unsure of what to do. I took advantage of his hesitation and kicked him as hard as I could in the shin. He let out a grunt of pain and released my arm. I bolted for the door, shouting for Marcus. "He's here, the shooter's here." Tom recovered quickly and lunged after me, but Marcus was already in the doorway. He tackled Tom to the ground, and the two of them struggled for control. I grabbed the nearest thing I could find, a heavy flashlight, and swung it at Tom's head. He crumpled to the floor, unconscious. The police arrived shortly after and took Tom into custody. Mr. Harris, the teacher who'd been shot, survived his injuries. It turned out Tom had a personal vendetta against him, something about a dispute over a school policy. The details were murky, but one thing was clear. Tom had snapped, and Riverside High had nearly paid the price. As for me, I quit my job a week later. The basement, once a safe haven, now felt like a prison. I couldn't shake the image of Tom's face, the sound of his voice, or the fear that had gripped me in those moments. The lockdown had changed everything. Months later, I heard through the grapevine that Tom had been sentenced to 25 years in prison. Mr. Harris returned to teaching, though he walked with a limp from the bullet wound. Riverside High installed new security measures, including cameras and metal detectors. But no amount of security could erase the memory of that day. I still think about it sometimes. The darkness, the footsteps, the gunshot that echoed through the basement. It's a reminder that danger can come from the most unexpected places, and that sometimes survival comes down to a split-second decision.